Hello, it's Giles here from 101 Part-Time Jobs. If you like what we're doing and you'd like to support us, you can. For £1, £4 or £10 a month at our Patreon, patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. You can help support our independent production. We are so happy with the way this is going. We appreciate all of you listening and watching our episodes. So thank you for being here. If you'd like to take it that one step further, you can. That's at patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. Cheers.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
This episode is brought to you by Prime. What if you had one more chance with the one that got away?
Sam, you came home.
Based on the best-selling novel from Carly Fortune. Every Year After follows childhood friends Sam and Percy as they reunite in the dreamy, nostalgic lakeside town of Barry's Bay.
Love can be hard to find. So if you're lucky enough to find that person, never let go.
A second chance at first love. Every Year After, now streaming only on Prime.
101.
I grew up kind of not in a scene.
Yeah.
I was playing music alone in my bathroom, in my loo.
Good
Growing
reverb
up,
in there though.
super. That's why I was there, man. But yeah, just like playing Sufjan Stevens
stuff.
covers. Yeah, acoustic. I would actually plug my acoustic guitar into a tiny amp and turn up the flanger all the way, the built-in flange, and
That's a
rock
good
out
sound.
alone. But yeah,
Which
so
cover did you say? Sorry, I cut you off.
Romulus by Sufjan Stevens, just like Fleet Fox's very folk
Yeah.
bathroom vibes.
Hell yeah.
But then I met Dave, and Sean can speak to this. Dave came from a very, very vibrant scene in suburban Chicago where everyone was in bands. And so I met him, and through him met all of his friends, including Sean, and just was in awe of
And he got,
all this
like,
creativity.
Alkaline
swirling around.
Trio.
Well, that was a whole nother thing in Chicago.
young.
Yeah.
When you're like, okay, well, God damn it, is like a really inspiring record. And then you get into like Jawbreaker and it's like, okay, there are these bands that like you can
I didn't
kind of,
know any of those.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Dave
matter.
exposed me to them.
Yeah, great. But then do you know what? That whole thing, and someone taught me this, they're like, never be made to feel bad about not knowing a record. Like what people should be is like, oh, I'm jealous you get to hear it for the first time.
Yeah, there's like 8 billion bands in
Yeah,
the world,
it's way
and there's
too-
more every day. It's like impossible to be able to listen to everything in our lives. So.
Yeah.
That's such good perspective.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Oh, because like that
Spread it.
first listen,
Yeah.
like I have
Yeah, yeah.
such like visceral memories of certain records I heard for the first time, and I really wish I could go back and
Did
feel
you
that
come
way.
from like a punk rock thing then? Was it because
Me, no.
okay.
Very much no. And I say now I wish I did, but also like I really had a nice childhood and upbringing.
No
like
regrets.
no shade. Yeah, like I was pretty sheltered. I like was the oldest child. I didn't have any like really older influences in my life, like shepherding me into like punk rock or
How did
like
you discover stuff?
well, back in the day, so I guess I'm like kind of firmly in the millennial generation. And so I was coming of age when iTunes was really becoming a thing and like LimeWire.
Yeah.
And so
And
like
you just-
MP3 trading.
You just
was
type
big.
in like, I mean, the big ones are like Goldfinger, like Red Balloons.
Dude, love that. Love that cover.
Yeah, and
So
like there
good.
are some tracks from that period of time.
Yeah.
that were like the big LimeWire tracks.
At the top of the queue.
Just type in like rock music and it's there.
Yeah. I mean, I remember just like trolling the iTunes library, like the alternative section, and like just looking for interesting album art and finding music that way. And I'll never forget discovering East by Joanna Newsom because of that, because it's just like that Renaissance portrait album
I
cover.
need to listen to that.
Oh, dude. I feel the way we were just talking about.
Yeah.
I wish I could hear that record again for the first time. Mind-blowing
Gonna get it on
music.
today.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Crazy stuff.
And it kind of makes you can make your own world, right? Like thinking of you like playing songs in your bathroom, and you're like, that's your cocooned world.
Totally. And hearing like experimental folk music like that was really powerful for me, because I was very much not in a garage in a band. I was like alone in my bathroom. So it was very influential.
The jump between that and like playing in front of people. It's funny how music is like and this sounds maybe a bit cheesy, but like it's an economy of like passion.
Oh, sure.
People do it because you care about it, and that is passion. Passion in itself is kind of a cheesy word, isn't it?
No, I love it. I love that word.
Fueled by care, and like you want to be there. You want to do it.
Absolutely. And like feeling like you have something to share with your peers or with strangers, you know. Yeah. I look back and I'm kind of amazed that as a young person I like wanted to put myself out there in that way, you know. I was very much not shy about performing.
Great.
You know, it started at the school talent show and then eventually just like coffee shops.
Yeah, wicked.
And then when I met Dave, it was getting to perform for his friends.
When you first got paid like $50 or like $100.
Oh my God.
I feel like that's like it's like what?
Well, dude,
it kind of changes everything.
We were reminiscing about this because like the first ever tour, we were on our first ever tour together in the summer of 2014, and we like played I think 5 DIY shows in the span of a week, and I don't think we even asked for money at any of these shows.
There's an incredible photo of the merch display, and it's like this very, very long table, like 10 feet long, and it's got like 2 cassettes on it. That was all the merch we had. It was kind of like who's taking turns paying for gas today.
Literally.
That was kind of like how we went about it.
It's a holiday.
We were paying to go on tour. We weren't expecting money back in return.
Yeah, we like took the money we had saved up and took turns paying for gas, and we weren't there to make money. We were there to have the experience of playing live.
And that's like such a funny thing, isn't it, to be in, because people would pay to go to the shows, people would spend money at the bar.
Maybe.
Like we live in a capitalist world.
Yeah, true.
Which sucks.
It was super DIY though.
Like a lot of like pass the hat around donation type things. So it was like maybe some people didn't even pay. Other people were like, you know, here's $5, or maybe one person would be like, here's $10 or $20, and you're like, thank you so much.
Whoa.
It's so funny to just be not financially driven.
But I have a very vivid memory of the first time we got paid like a decent amount to play. Like I remember we played a DIY show in Grand Rapids, Michigan in I think 2016 maybe, and we got paid like $600. Like a lot of kids came out, and this guy Ty from the band Cardboard Swords and I am so grateful for him. He was just so proud when he like handed me this money at the end of the night. He's like, "This is for you," and I'm like, "Holy shit, dude! Like, how did you do this?" You know what I mean? Like I'm so grateful.
I mean, maybe he did take that out of some of his own pocket, but if it works, if people turn up to the show, then there is that work that makes sense for everybody.
Totally. I hope that he gave some to the other bands too, but it is also that like punk ethos of like the touring band needs the money, like they need the gas and the food and whatever. And we tried to do that when we were in Chicago hosting bands, you know. Same thing. Like touring band needs the support.
It works to a level.
Yeah.
Right. It works to a level. I don't think of like Jeffrey Lewis. Like that guy's made his life doing this. But for most people that doesn't or can't work like that. Yeah. Especially if there's more than one of you.
I was going to say, it's different when you're solo acoustic touring. But you're right. As a band grows and scales up a little bit in their production needs or their ambitions of what they want to sound like, you do kind of have costs associated with it. Or just as you get older, like that's something we've realized. We're all in our 30s. Like as much as it would be sick to like save a ton of money and just sleep on floors every night, like to keep ourselves going, we kind of need to prioritize our health a little bit. And so sleeping in beds is kind of a non-negotiable thing these days for us.
And that's part of caring, right? Like, because you're caring for yourself and you're caring for each other.
And for our audience, you know, we want to like give the best show we can, and like we're not going to do a good job on stage if we feel like shit and like are in bad moods and hate each other. You know, so
has that been like a journey over the last over 10 years about like, okay, how do we like sustain this but ethically? I think that, and I would say I think there is a way to work and get paid in a kind of art sector and it be ethical. I think there must be a way. I think it takes a lot of work and care to make it ethical.
Of course.
But I think I like to think it's possible. Maybe I'm naive.
Yeah, I mean, it's like incrementally over time we were able to like pay ourselves a little bit more and more from the band, but a lot of the money goes back into the band and stuff to, like Julia said, to keep the, you know, car going and stuff like that. And so it is kind of a goofy economy the way that works, but it is hard to like take care of yourselves on the road.
I think we've had a couple like lucky, I don't know if lucky breaks is the right word, but just the timing worked out in some ways where like as we were coming up, we got to open for other bands who've been doing this a lot longer than us, and like kind of seeing how they operate has been really, really
and they get
useful.
They see you and they're like, they get it. They understand.
Exactly. Right. Like a band called Foxing from St. Louis took us out on tour, and like they came from the same DIY scene that we did. And so seeing them, how they had leveled up and like how they treated each other and approached touring from a scaled up perspective was like really, really, informative. But then also like a band like Pup, just same thing. They came from like playing shows to no one, and now they're playing for thousands of people every night. And just seeing how their journey unfolded was really useful. But also like the way the pandemic was timed in our career, like we got really lucky in the sense that we like had all these experiences before that. And so we like coming out of the pandemic, I feel like we were kind of primed to like continue being a band and like prioritize what we knew we needed to going forward.
Were you like almost like you were protected?
Yeah, a little bit.
Kind of knew how to like make it work.
Yeah.
Just on a shoestring.
Yeah. Exactly. And we could like, I don't know, like take stock of what was important to us and what we needed to keep going and then act on that coming out of it. So I feel it's hard. I can only imagine being a band that like had just started right before the pandemic or like was trying to start right after. You know, it's just a whole different world. So
what's different about it? Is it just like there's like
everything's more expensive now,
and that's gas.
Oh my god,
rent,
hotels,
rental,
everything.
Stuff.
Yeah, even just like getting food every day and stuff like that. Everything has just gone up, and getting people out to the shows, tickets are more expensive and stuff like that. Everything has just gone up.
Garnering people's attention is so difficult now. The attention economy is like super maxed out and completely flooded. And so
it's all reels. And like we do it, like that's such a big part of our show. And I like to think that, and I back it, like we care about the short form bits that we put out. And hopefully they're like little stories in themselves in this kind of world of shites.
Of course.
But it's like, but yeah, that's a game. You either in or you're out. You kind of, there are certain things like Instagram that you kind of, your arm's twisted to do it.
Feels like you kind of can't half do it. Like you said, you got to be like both feet in or out. Yeah, like there's no social media or you're playing along with the game. So
I was thinking about when we talk about those bands like the Sidekicks, the greatest band in the world.
Ohio, represent. Columbus.
You know, that band maybe would have played to a few hundred people in a few towns. People love that band. People are obsessed with those records, like Awkward Breeds, one of my favorite records ever.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there are bands that are amazing who do play to nobody. And it's like, how does that work? That doesn't make sense.
It's kind of I don't know, like I've in our experience too, like some of the best songwriters that I've ever met are not touring and making music, you know, consistently, because it is such a hard like economy to kind of keep going and stuff. So I don't know, like when anyone asks about like what to tell younger bands and stuff like that, I do feel compelled to tell people to, you know, have things outside of music to keep you going, like whether that's another job, a part-time job, or, you know, another passion or something, to kind of just take your mind out of it for a second so you don't get burnt out, whether that's like financially or you just get exhausted and stuff like that. Because it is like I you know, think of some of our friends that like Dave and I grew up with in that scene that Julia is talking about, who like just, you know, couldn't keep going after a while, and like or like this, like a band like the Sidekicks, I don't know why they stopped touring, but like, you know, you just wish that they could be the biggest band in the world because they meant so much to you, and you could see how much they mean to other people.
Totally.
You know? I don't know.
Yeah. I think part of it too is like, thinking about advice, you know, that I would offer to younger bands and stuff, like your idea of success or like making it, as much as you can anchor that in like your personal definition of like fun or happiness or passion, like you said, it's so much more important than like your number of followers, or because that shit's actually like really fickle and such bullshit. There are people with hundreds of thousands of followers and monthly listens and stuff who the actual number of human beings who give a fuck about their music is actually really small. And so like that, those numbers just aren't really accurate to like life. And
there's definitely like a reach is like
communities, what it's all about,
like the depth of a community.
And like I don't think music that like, there's so much incredible music that just lives in obscurity, and it's important, I think, to, you know, realize that music is just as wonderful, even if no one's really heard it or no one seems to care.
You know what? Seeing a band on a Friday or Saturday night in the back room of a pub,
so magical.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I think like those are my favorite gigs. Like
Straight
I
up.
love going to like the 1,000 cap venues to see a band you love.
Yeah.
But it's just different. Like it's more special. It can be more special.
Yeah.
When it's 15 people in the back room of a pub.
Especially when the band's having a good time. And that's like, I think the most important thing is like, I don't know, we came up like we enjoy our band practices, you know, like we played to no one for years.
Right.
Straight up. And so like, you know, if my perception is like, if 50 people show up to the gig, that's awesome. Especially if it's in a town like Southampton where we don't know anyone. You know what I mean? When 150 people show up, that's like psychotic. Like that's amazing. You know what I mean? So like, it's not like, oh fuck, we didn't sell out the show, or you know what I mean? It's like, no, it's not about the people who aren't here. Yeah. It's about the people who are here. Yeah. And I don't know any of them. And somehow they care about what we're doing. Like that's so sick.
And you've been there in the crowd where,
yeah,
you know, both sides, you see like the whites of somebody's eyes, whether it's a person playing or whether you're playing and you see
so intimate.
Someone, yeah, it's like that's special.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Totally. Real people in a room together.
There's no shame in that, is there?
No.
You know, that actually kind of what Julia was talking about earlier. It's like these people are coming to the show and spending their money to see us. You know, we want to put on like 110% every night that we play for them and, you know, make it worthwhile and, you know, they're buying merch and stuff like that. They care about us, so we should, you know, the care should go both ways.
Hell
so yeah, it goes back to that. Just, you know, making sure that everything is, you know, as premier as we can make it.
Yeah, that's a responsibility. It's super honorable and cool, especially in like a rock and roll world that is, you know, thankfully it's kind of not there anymore. But 50 years ago, it was kind of like rooted in this kind of narcissistic,
yeah,
you know, I'm such a dick.
Cool to poo-poo your fans or something.
Yeah, or just like kind of being a jerk and like not caring.
Yeah.
Caring is cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't help who I am. Like I am earnest. I don't know. Like I want to connect with people. And so awesome. I'm so grateful when our audience returns that desire, because like what else are we supposed to do on this planet if not like understand each other? I don't know. Like, for sure. Peace, love, and understanding, man. That's like all we're after. So it sounds hippy dippy, but no. I mean, and obviously we need to feed ourselves and like make a living too. But we find crafty ways to do that outside of music also. So.
I love how you love band practices.
Yeah.
That's so nerdy and brilliant.
We're grateful to have a place to practice. We practice in our basement. And yeah, I mean, it's easy for me to say all this stuff because like, you know, we've had a lot of lucky breaks. Like I said, we've like experienced success. We're not out here like banging our heads against the wall. You know what I mean? But you know, there's always more to grow.
I think the philosophy of stuff like that I think is a reasonable philosophy is like you just do what you can with what you have in front of you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And just like keep having fun as much as possible. Like that's the goal. Yeah. And if it stops getting fun, then reevaluate.
Hell yeah.
What the goals should be.
That's the message. That's a good message.
I think so. You know, for everyone in any like facet of life. Yeah.
I think maybe it's a post-COVID thing, but I'm definitely aware of like even on my family WhatsApp group with my brother or sister, and it's like or my friends or something where I'm like, what you say does have an impact about the way other people see the world.
Totally.
Like we all have a platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Totally.
101 part-time jobs. Eva made this.
Beautiful.
We can't see what's inside. Not allowed.
Nope.
You said you've been quite crafty.
Yeah.
At like making it work. This is the place for it.
Yep.
101 part-time jobs. How does it work then? I mean, 10 years is a long period of time.
Yeah, well, it's
a stretch of time.
I know.
And you grow up so much. I would be surprised if your lives hadn't changed in a number of different ways. Mm-hmm. You know, from where you live to like who you're hanging out with to your family. Everything. Yeah, I mean, it's a big question, but how do you think, what are those crafty ways and how do you think you've been able to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, like at the beginning of the band, we never had a moment where we were like putting all of our eggs in the music basket. Mm-hmm. You know, we always had the perspective that like, we're gonna work random jobs in order to play music, so that's like how that's like the foundation of our lives that the band is kind of built on.
We started paying to go on tour, so
exactly.
We knew what we were getting into.
And I mean, I think the four of us in the band are really lucky where like all of our parents, like we never had like severe pushback in that sense where like, I don't know, like we all went to college and stuff, but none of us really like dove into like careers, after college. Like we all kind of just started doing these like side jobs that would help us support music. I guess your journey was a little different.
But it is all in like this, every job that we have outside of music is all in the service of making music possible for us.
Right.
So, I mean, we've all done like different things, like, Julia's working events. I'm working random jobs at magazines. Marcus is working at graphic design at different companies. Sometimes Dave is doing art for different bands and different companies.
Team. That makes sense for the band. You can all, and then you can write the copy.
Yeah. We have our own small business.
Like
but it does relate into the band too, because then we all do these sorts of things in different ways for the band as well. Like especially with like Marcus and Dave doing a lot of the artwork for the band. That is helped us in a massive way as a unit, because then we're not spending money for someone else to do artwork. Also, it's more personal. We have someone like doing artwork that means a lot more to us because it's them doing it. And I don't know. So we've been very crafty, I think, throughout our lives, and grown up together too. I mean, we've lived together at different points. We've moved, like you said, we've had different jobs. We've had different dependents and stuff like that, taking care of parents and grandparents and stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of month to month like changes of how much we need, but we've found ways to like always try to hit that goal and make sure we're supporting each other too.
That's ace. I mean, it's an inspiration, really. Yeah,
I mean, we try our best. Yeah, I think... I don't know. I just go back to like right after school, I like got an internship in a very kind of corporate setting. And 4 months in, I was just like, I cannot do this. Like this sucks, I would be on the clock, like booking DIY shows and just like, this is not where I need to be. But I'm so grateful looking back that my parents, because I just quit that job and just started doing Instacart, like food, grocery delivery in the US. And it paid pretty well back then. Like $25 an hour in 2014 was like, pretty awesome.
And now, those jobs at those commercial places, I mean, first of all, I don't know what it's like in the States. Yeah, they pay badly. And you're a fucking contractor.
I know.
So you don't have proper holiday.
So we were so lucky with the timing. Because I think Dave and I were both really early on that Instacart train. We were like contractors number like 600 and 601 or something. Like we were really early in.
That's funny.
I remember the game was a little badge when we started. But I'm so grateful looking back that my parents weren't like, what the fuck are you doing? Like they were totally like trusting and just let me live they're like, well, you're paying your bills. Like who cares?
That's a huge one. Like the way that people around you see you or respond to what you're doing.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, even like every couple months I would get a little envelope in the mail that was like, here's $60, for gas. Like, so my parents were very, very like supportive, and I don't take that. That's like a huge privilege. Like, don't take that for granted. So that was,
and they would have loved to have done it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of goes both ways.
And I'm just so grateful for that. But then dude, like the winding road of various side gigs that I've had is like truly hilarious to me. I don't know how detailed we want to get into it, but well, so okay.
Do a whistle stop tour.
In 2018, we opened for Soccer Mommy on a little tour, and in Philly, I was doing our merch, and I met a friend, a local merch seller for Soccer Mommy that night. Became instant friends behind the merch table, and at the time, he was doing a really interesting job where he was touring, but not with bands. He was touring with brands.
Okay.
And so it's something called brand ambassadorship, where it's kind of like guerrilla marketing stuff. Okay. So he was touring with a kombucha company that was on a bus going from town to town and just sampling kombucha. And so he's like, I'm going to be in Chicago this summer. Like, I need local staff. Would you want to work for me? And I was like, yeah. And so he got me into this kombucha peddling circuit where I was doing that for a couple summers, just like handing it out.
Really good gut health.
I had never had it before. I had kombucha for the first time, the first gig I worked, and someone, I kid you not, asked me right away. They were like, so how long you been drinking this stuff? And I was like, not long. Like 10 minutes.
That's good you haven't lied.
You know? But
you like, couldn't tell them that it was healthy or not. You couldn't approve of them drinking.
we could not make health claims. It was very strict about what we could or couldn't
Very strict
say.
language.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was very controlled. But
People
anyway.
come back with the shits. They're like, what?
But through that,
Three
oh
liters
yeah,
of
you
it.
got to be careful. I see. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
I can say it now that the kind of kombucha we were peddling was not real kombucha. It was kind of fake kombucha.
Yeah,
but
it's like sugary stuff.
it was like Pepsi kombucha. But then eventually I got through that. Ended up in the hospitality world eventually, and now I work this job that I really like.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like corporate event planning.
Okay.
But I'm not the one actually planning the events. I'm just like kind of the day of coordinator for a lot of these
yeah.
like business
You're like
meetings.
TM, almost, on the day TM.
Exactly. And my
You know how to do that?
Exactly. My boss at the main company I work for is super into the band, like knows what I do,
Awesome.
loves it, came to Lollapalooza when we played, like
Yes.
is such a supportive mentor
Yeah.
for me, honestly. And so she often puts me on these jobs where I'm like helping the DJ or like, you know, hospitality for the band.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
I am qualified to do
That's
those
good. I mean, because
things.
there are so many jobs out there who just like don't like recognize.
Yeah, people's individual talents, you know. And dude, my coworkers at this job are some of the most interesting people
Yeah.
because everyone is doing the same thing, hustling so that they can fund their passions. And so like, yeah, actors. I know a guy who's like the main Santa Claus in Chicago. And so like in the winter.
Santaland Diaries.
Yeah.
David Sedaris.
See, I don't know that.
David Sedaris or Sedaris.
Yeah.
Sedaris.
Is that
One
Amy
of the-
Sedaris'
Yes.
husband? Or?
Brother.
Brother. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and he's like, I mean, he says that he describes their family hilariously.
Oh, she's so funny.
And he writes this kind of it's humorist. It's kind of
Okay.
like
Yeah.
part autobiographical humorist. Do you know the stuff?
Yeah, I know his books.
And one of his essays is Santaland Diaries, which then kind of got used as the premise for Elf.
Oh, okay. I did
So
not put
someone
that
worked
together.
as at Macy's.
Incredible.
Anyway, so yes.
Yeah.
You meet
So
some
this guy
characters.
John is the main Santa, one of the main Easter bunnies in Chicago. He like does all these gigs just to because he's an actor.
I hope he smokes.
I'm sure he does. He is.
The bunny
Ears.
suit.
Yeah.
He's such a character. But I've met so many characters doing this job, and
Yeah.
I love like I'm often the person like holding the sign at the airport when people get off the plane. You know,
Yeah.
like
So you're the
corralling.
first introduction.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Is I love being like the face of Chicago for these corporate travelers because, like, I don't know, Chicago, kind of, yeah. I'm like smiling, you know, because Chicago gets kind of a bad rap sometimes in America, where like conservatives sort of use it as this like liberal hellhole. I don't know,
Right.
like the stand-in for everything wrong with leftist America, and it gets a lot of blame for like. I don't know, problems
Okay.
in the country at large. And so there's this perception of the city as being like extremely dangerous or like a sketchy or something. I don't know. And obviously there are parts of it that are, you know,
Sketchy places everywhere.
sketchy. Yeah, exactly. It's a big city. But like, I love being the person who can kind of provide like a positive impression of the
Yeah.
city
Yeah,
for
yeah,
someone
yeah.
visiting from out of town.
And that's like a role you take on. You know, living that.
I'm genuinely like stoked about that part of the job.
Awesome.
So
One
it's
of
nice.
my biggest fears in life is to be bored.
Yeah.
And like, I think there's different types of boredom, but I think the boredom of like doing something every day that you
Monotonous
really don't want to
work.
can't be there, or it doesn't inspire you.
Yeah, totally.
And I know that's such a lucky place to be.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that. But, you know, that is a huge fear. And I think post-COVID, we were just saying how like, there aren't many good opportunities out there anyway for like well-paid, boring jobs. So
True.
you might as well try and do something,
Might as well be scrappy and move around.
try and have fun.
Exactly.
And I kind of what both of you were saying. I noticed that change like when the pandemic happened. I've had the same job from before the pandemic to now, and during the pandemic and afterwards, I see a lot of people at work are a lot more supportive of like us going on tour and giving me
Nice.
time off. Like it's
Yeah.
become way easier than it was in the past, and maybe that's me just being more comfortable. But like more and more people are like reaching out at work and stuff like that, being like, "Oh, cool! I saw you're playing in like New York City tonight,"
Yeah.
or something like that. And I think the same kind of like fear is kind of in everybody. Maybe I don't want to be bored, and I don't want you to be bored either. I want you to get all you can out of this life. And so there's been a lot of like support, I think, in a lot of our circles in that way to kind of like keep pushing us to keep doing this type of stuff. So.
Great to hear. And I imagine like over 10 years, you're going to go through different waves of like telling people you play in the bands and like, or like not telling people you play in bands because you just want to avoid it, especially in like an interview or something.
Yeah, it depends.
And
it's
that
like
affects the way you see yourself as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to have to fucking live a double life.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
Totally. Yeah. It is interesting. Like, when I'm working these gigs, I really only bring it up if someone asks, but like it does feel nice as we've gotten to kind of check off more things off the bucket list to be like, I'm in a band, like you can Google us, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, we have records
you've heard of.
Exactly. Like we're opening for a band you might have heard, whatever, you know, like little things that give us a little more legitimacy in the eyes of like a mainstream adult who doesn't care about underground music, you know?
And now, right? I mean, we're singing to an empty chair. There was a lot of write-ups about it. There's like a lot of visibility on it. Did that like having done being in a band and like putting out tracks on EPs and records, full lengths, when it like clearly like goes like as the campaign, quote unquote, goes well. Did you feel it?
There was actually a couple weeks ago at work. There was this like I think it was Variety or something. You maybe did an interview or something, and it went online.
Anna Wintour.
But Anna Wintour came over. No, but there was a piece that went online, and at my job at a magazine, there's like this channel where everyone is flagging stuff, and there's also this like robot that flags stuff, so it kind of just sees what's like getting a lot of traction on a website that day, and it's like, here someone's covering this story, like
it's trending,
and some like the robot flagged a Ratboys story in our work channel. Everyone just started replying on it, and I was like so mortified, of course, but I was like, oh shit, actually, like it kind of like, okay, it doesn't feel as cringy now because it is a little bit more legitimized by an outside thing, of course, which is stupid, but like, you know, it feels a little bit better now.
At least it was positive press.
Yes, it wasn't like some shitty thing or I don't know, but it was a funny crossover where I was like, oh god, I just want to go into a hole right now at work.
Isn't that funny? Like it's like
your work life and your music life combined.
Kind of validation, no matter how tough or thick-skinned you are, when you get validation, it's like, but it maybe also, like you say, you're like, I want to turn away from this now. It's too much. You're looking into the fire.
It's interesting how like different press things like resonate with different audiences. Like I got to do this like NPR interview, which is like American, like BBC radio kind
NPR's
of.
ace.
Yeah, like talk radio mostly. But so many like parents came out of the woodwork and were like, I heard you on NPR.
Like friends' parents.
Yes, exactly. Awesome. So it was like, wow, that really like, you know, crossed over to them. Like they got there.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. We're very grateful. We work with incredible publicists, Louisa and JC, shout out. So they are great at their jobs and help to amplify what we're doing. So.
And it's an amazing record.
Thanks.
You know, it's awesome. And I feel the feels.
Thanks.
You know, that first like opening track, it's like, whoa, I'm going to go outside now.
Yeah.
I'm going to go walk. You know, I'm going to do something. I'm going to spend some time with myself.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's, it's just a really special thing. And talk about sidekicks. I hear sidekicks in that, like that kind of feeling, that connection.
Sunny.
You live inside of it.
Yes.
And it's warm.
Very personal.
Super personal.
I think a big part of that, it comes from Chris Walla too. Like we love collaborating with him, and he is such an open-hearted guy and so good at teasing out like atmospherics in recordings.
Is that kind of mad? Because I mean, everyone like loves Death Cab, and
it's crazy.
I was listening to Plans the other day, having not heard it in definitely over 10 years.
Such a good album.
Whoa.
I know. I mean, that was like extremely influential. Again, little old me playing in the bathroom by myself. Like I Will Follow You Into the Dark was one of the first songs I felt really, really good about playing on guitar. And it, was mad meeting him for the first time and getting to even pick his brain about how they recorded that, because it's a single take. And
I know that like there are a lot of like, there's a million things you do in the studio, but were there like one or two like couple of like tricks or things that you're like, that's how you get a vibe?
I mean, kind of. I'm thinking back when we recorded The Window, there was the glove. Which, it's what it is. It's a glove, and it was just Chris just trying to like kind of like pull you out of the headspace for a second, and was like, I think you were maybe doing a vocal take, and Chris was just like, here, put on this glove. Like, and it was just a leather glove, and it just kind of like lightened the mood, and you're just like, what the fuck? It's like throwing water on a dog for a second. You're just like, oh, you shake awake and you're like, oh, okay. Like,
what kind of glove?
We gotta like get back into this.
Like a James Bond, like leather glove.
What color?
I think it was brown, really dark brown, or maybe even black. Yeah. It was very dark.
Feels like you're going to a dress-up party.
It's very serious, like you kind of have a different, you can like be someone else for a minute.
I think that's funny. It's like when you wear a pair of new sunglasses or like a hat.
Totally.
I love a good hat party.
Ooh, I love a hat.
Because you kind of be somebody else. Like you say, it's like you embody somebody else. You can throw away your boring old self for a second. And
totally.
At least that's the way I think of it. I'm like, I get away from myself a bit.
No, it's a great feeling. But yeah, I mean, like on a practical level too, like he is just so good with like reverb, and he does all of these little tiny like reverse tricks that are so cool. Like the very beginning of Open Up, the first song on our new album, has this like reverse cymbal reverb that kind of just like sucks you into the song right away and just like instantly like plops you down, like transports you right in the middle of everything. And he is just, it's so subtle, but once you like listen for it, it's kind of all over the place. And
after this, I'm gonna listen to it.
Oh, it's awesome. Like he's just so great at these like really subtle little atmospheric moves that really bring a lot of life to a recording.
Hell yeah. And like give you energy.
Yes.
Like give you like spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and kind of makes us think of the song a different way too. Like coming out of recording, and it's like now we have all these like tricks that we can do live and stuff that before we were just playing the song just the four of us. And it just like steps up the song. That's
amazing.
Crazy.
Most of you watching or listening to this will know someone, if it's not yourself, who plays in a band, puts out music, and are sometimes confused about the way it works. Well, DistroKid is here to help. Now, as well as being able to put out your music, you can get your t-shirts printed there. You can create a merch store in minutes, no upfront costs. DistroKid takes care of all the printing, shipping, and support, so you don't get waylaid by the logistics, and you can focus more on writing and putting out good music, right? And just like the distribution, DistroKid never takes a cut, and the artists, you keep 100% of your earnings. It's that simple. Head to distrokid.com/direct. Select the type of products that you want. You can get mugs, shirts, tote bags, and then pick up your album artwork and the price that you want to sell your merch for. Head to distrokid.com/direct. Hey, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. You're on tour like every kind of hour is, there's something to do.
Yeah, we got to get to the gig. Yeah. Thanks for having us.
I've got one more question, final question.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of like the work gaff. I'm talking like work fuck ups. I think it's fertile ground, especially in jobs you don't want to be at, where like you just make a quick decision. I mean, I say this all the time on the show, but like, I've worked as like a laborer, nearly cut my fingers off, like smashed so many glasses while working at a pub.
Classic.
Just sort of like, I mean, when I worked at the radio station, I like put in, you do the trails, right, that advertised the Tonight Show. I used to just mess them up on dates, like on like,
wrong
Times
information
radio, which is like all like Talk Sport, which is listened to by millions of people.
Yep.
I just like put in the wrong calendar thing to play out. I was like, I actually don't really care.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
all
I fuck up on this show all the time, kind of. But yeah, how does it? Give me some good,
like a funny gaff we've made in our
I guess
work lives.
Like a bad memory, but not too bad.
Okay. Well, I have one that kind of combines like my side gigs and my music stuff. They sort of collided so right before the pandemic, I was working one of these brand ambassador jobs where this is so silly. I'll try to make this a short story, but I was working for a company that was trying to increase foot traffic into these cell phone stores called Metro by T-Mobile. And the way that they were doing that was they would bring donuts and coffee into these phone stores and hope that people would just want that, like free stuff and then they'll come in. But it was the dead of winter in Chicago, and so like no one was out and about. Anyway, all that to say, there was often a lot of leftover donuts and coffee at the end of these shifts. I don't drink coffee. I'm very sensitive to coffee. And so one of these days I was just so bored, talking about boredom, at this job. I probably drank 5 cups. Like I was just had nothing to do. Yeah. So I got really fucked up on coffee. I drive home. I put on this album by the band Poppy. Do you know Poppy?
No.
I disagree. It's this really kind of intense genre bending, like nu metal album from like 2020. And it blew my mind so much that I pulled over and emailed our booking agent, our label, our like publicist, everyone, all the guys. I emailed like kind of everyone I knew in music. Yeah. And I was like, you gotta listen to this. Like, this is the best album I've ever heard. Like, blah, blah, blah. I was like high on coffee.
Julia's losing her mind.
Yeah. And so then later, like I came down and I was like, oh shit. I just like really went off and like kind of
what were you saying? Like, let's play with this band.
I was just like, you gotta listen to this. This is the best thing I've ever heard. And I do stand by it's a cool album, but like I think my booking agent was like, okay, like I'll check it out. You know what I mean? Funny. So that was pretty silly.
I think I had like a lot of learning curves with like drugs when I was like younger and working as a reporter too, and like thinking, like not realizing that like as your reporter, you kind of need to like be on 24/7, like just in case something happens. And I used to always just be like, well, work's work, like I'm off at 5, whatever. Yeah. And so there was definitely like a couple times where like I was off the clock, but then something happened.
Yes.
And either like, you know, I started smoking weed after work when I smoked weed for a period of time. And like there was a major press conference that happened in the world, and I had to get called back into this, and was just like, it was the most absurd thing that's ever happened. So I was just sitting there frozen because my mind just like locked, totally locked. And, you know, all my editors are like, where is the story? We need the story right now. This is insane and stuff. And I just totally froze. Yeah. And
brain's not working.
Yeah, that did not work either. And then like a Saturday morning one time with like, you know, Dave and everybody, we took acid, and it was the first time I ever took acid. And then I got a call that I had to like interview this major celebrity, but it didn't hit in yet. I just did it really quickly and like
didn't know about this.
So I got it over with, but like, yeah, just like a couple close calls where it could have gone very wrong. And I was just like, oh shit, never will I do that again. Or like make sure like my day is cleared before doing this again. Yes, yeah, I would say so.
Who was the celebrity?
So, I don't want to get myself in trouble with that one.
Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation. Oh, when I was working at Soho Radio, I got pretty pissed the night before and was covering the day after, and it was a show I'd usually produce, and the guy was kind of funny. He would tell stories, and so I was kind of following his lead and just kind of doing his stories, and the station manager, and I was really hungover, and like my phone was there and the station manager was ringing, and I answered, and he was just like, can you stop talking? And I was like, oh my God, fear.
Never want to hear that.
It's bad beer fear for the rest. I'm like, it's like physical beer fear.
That's rough.
But I appreciate you guys.
Thanks so
really
much
bummed
for
I can't make
having
the show tonight because we've
that's all right.
got a radio award to go to.
All good. We'll be back in September, hopefully.
Yeah, love you. Thank you so much.
You too.
Thanks for having me.
Hell yes. Cool. So that was Julia and Sean from Ratboys. One of this year's album of the years for me, Singing to an Empty Chair. If you're listening to this, chances are you know that album. But if you don't, go and listen to it right now. Produced by Chris Waller, formerly of Death Cab for Cutie. Just really great, amazing sounding album. Thanks so much for being here. Recent episodes that we've had on 101 include Nothing, Emma Doran and Stuart Lee. And coming up, we got Pierce, Sublime, spoke to Jacob Knoll when they're here in the UK. Show Me the Body, Freddie Meredith, loads coming up. So if you want to get them, click subscribe. Cheers. See you soon.
Tires matter. They're the only part of your vehicle that touches the road. Tread confidently with new tires from Tire Rack. Whether you're looking for expert recommendations or know exactly what you want, Tire Rack makes it easy. Fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and the best selection of Continental tires. Go to TireRack.com to see their Continental test results, tire ratings, and reviews, and be sure to check out all the special offers. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hello, it's Giles here from 101 Part-Time Jobs. If you like what we're doing and you'd like to support us, you can. For £1, £4 or £10 a month at our Patreon, patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. You can help support our independent production. We are so happy with the way this is going. We appreciate all of you listening and watching our episodes. So thank you for being here. If you'd like to take it that one step further, you can. That's at patreon.com/101 part-time jobs. Cheers.